Welcome to The Grove. I'm Matthew.
And I'm Ashley.
And we actually have been playing a lot recently the Wingspan America's expansion that has just come out from Stonemaier Games. We thought for our channel we would go ahead and just do a conversation about how we feel about this expansion. So the new Wingspan America's expansion adds a lot of new bird cards, adds several new round ins, adds several bonus cards, but the major thing it adds is hummingbirds. So we now have this garden that we can pull birds from, and whenever you do an action of gaining food, laying eggs, gaining cards, when you reach the end of that track, you can attract or return hummingbirds from the garden, or you can top deck. And they give you bonus things. You can get food, you can get more cards, you can get more eggs. It also allows you to move up this new scoring track.
Yes.
So you could get some crazy extra combos going off. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into talking about what we think about this expansion.
Let's do it.
So Ashley, I'll go ahead and start with you. I know you're relatively new to Wingspan.
Yeah.
You've played it quite a bit now since we had decided we were going to do this project. What's your initial reactions of the America's expansion?
My first thing that really strikes me is the addition of the hummingbirds.
Of course.
And the mechanic where they move back and forth like hummingbirds do, just bouncing around and bringing treats as they come and helping you move up the tracker as you go. I think that's a really fun addition to the game.
Yeah, it's very thematic. You actually mentioned that all of our the tracks are based on different
The taxonomical
Yeah.
groups. So you have your coquettes and your brilliants. You have your, I think, mangoes, your bees. Like they're thematically, chef's kiss.
Incredible. And like you said, just that moving back and forth, it does like elicit that thought of, oh yeah, like a hummingbird zip around. It is great. Obviously, I mean, if you've played Wingspan, you know the art's wonderful. This is, another home run, seeing all these lovely renderings of these hummingbirds.
Yeah, and the watercolor work on the individual trackers.
Absolutely. I know
such a nice touch.
One side, they're different on the sides, but are technically the same. But just different artworks, very nice, fits well with the player mat. I do think that the garden edition it's very different from anything else.
Yeah.
And that's kind of nice.
It's not just an addition of more regular bird cards. It's addition of the bird cards and this whole new mechanic that really adds length to the game, but also diversifies your scoring strategy.
Yeah, and I have seen a lot of discussion online about concern of, well, do we want more Wingspan? Like, is it a good thing for it to be longer? But I'll say it doesn't make my brain feel like the game is longer.
That's right.
Like as far as pacing of the game, it doesn't feel like it's adding anything other than just new scoring abilities, new ways to build an engine, to build some combos,
And this component's really zippy. Like it moves very fast, and you pop off, as we say. And you really get on a roll whenever you are using your hummingbird abilities.
Yeah. It is that really cool moment of, in an engine builder, you're always hoping for your engine to hum, right? You want to be like, wow, I feel like I'm doing so much because of the way I've played, and the hummingbirds definitely add that ability. If you do watch our playthrough, you'll see us do that. We'll pop off a few times and have combos where we do so many actions in one turn based on the way it works.
And the nice thing is I never felt, oh, finally it's my turn, or finally it's over. It's like, my engine is working, and I'm getting stuff done. I also really like that they've added in regular birds that synergize with the hummingbirds.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, when we have played, we have been, because we've wanted to really experience the game. This expansion can be attached with all of the expansions. It can be attached by itself. One of the expansions adds a 2-player mode.
Yeah.
And you can just add this into that. But definitely the way we've experienced it is trying to really dilute our decks with it by just having the base game.
Yeah.
But it does allow you to just create that combo engine, because so many of the cards that came with this expansion, they did add hummingbird abilities. I have one here that it allows, at the round end, I get to attract 2 hummingbirds. It's great. We both had ones that allowed us brown abilities, attracting or sending back, returning hummingbirds on our turns. What about the fact that we now have round end stuff that comes with it? And does that force you into utilizing this mechanic?
I wouldn't say force.
Okay.
I think it encourages you to really think about the strategy that these introduce. Because yes, in some ways you may feel forced, like, oh, I need to work towards this. But really I need to really hone into in this case, getting these out of the gate early in the game, instead of waiting later and strategizing more on the things that are part of the base game.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Well, I think that it's good to allow, like, when you are playing the game normally, you are going to just be doing the hummingbird actions, and if you have a round in, then it just kind of gives you a little bit of direction, which is good. I also think it's great. While hummingbirds are the frontlining, the headlining act, there are other kind of balancing additions to the game. One that we found this game was a round in that was different point values on your birds. And I think those are cool, different ways, keeps the game fresh for those of you who have maybe played the game 100 times.
Something that I really liked, and I've noticed as we've played these practice rounds and then the game that we played on camera, in previous expansions, there's birds that move to different habitats, but I haven't noticed one where you move it to a different habitat and then get to continue in the different one. Really showcasing that bird is more of a generalist in where it lives, but also it kind of lets you spec into, okay, I need food, but I want to move across the grassland.
Yeah, my engine is built, which is kind of what I had happen to me, where my engine was built up in the food area, in the forest. But I would have rather been gaining eggs. So, like, if I had what you had going, I could have, got my eggs and then moved and run my engine I had built somewhere else. Just a cool, interesting, new mechanic that has been added to the game. One other interesting thing, these hummingbird tracks, they are slightly asymmetric. You'll notice on them there are different little icons along the track. Those give you bonus actions, and every card is set up slightly differently. There are 5 cards included, and they're all slightly different. What do you think about that, like, slight asymmetry that has been added into this?
I think it's asymmetrical in the strategy that you use, but I think it also helps the market not, like, it balances the demand and the supply.
Yeah.
Because if everybody's going for, in this case, the mangoes right out the gate, then the first player has an extreme advantage in that regard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a very good point, because it is a way of balancing the economy, and not giving someone an unfair edge for being first, because your first or second turn, you're almost certainly going to be taking a hummingbird, and a lot of the hummingbirds allow you to take a bonus action, which could be ending up moving up the track, or There's a lot of ways for round one to be moving up 1 or 2 spaces on the hummingbird track.
Yeah, so I think that was a really mindful and thoughtful, I guess, design choice.
Absolutely.
So, I really like that the components, they've built this that not necessarily augments the underlying player track, but integrates really well with what's existing.
Absolutely. And they have thought through the fact that if you're playing the base game or just with a European expansion, you don't have the nectar stuff, and so it slots right on. But if you have those different boards for the other expansions, they have the other side that allows you to, just as easily play with just this expansion or all the expansions. And I think that's, really cool, because not everyone can afford to buy, 5 expansions for a game, or maybe they're like, that's just a lot of stuff. I just want a very focused experience.
Yeah, it really highlights the intentionality that they had whenever they were designing their components, and then again the theming of the hummingbirds and the different taxonomical groups. Like, chef's kiss all around. I really enjoyed this.
So I think, that's given you a good overview, kind of our thoughts on this expansion. Again, the major addition is the hummingbirds and the way they interact with your board. Final thoughts from me is that I think that this expansion ranks up there with the Oceania expansion. Those of you who enjoy Wingspan will know the Oceania expansion really changed the game. It added nectar, like it really, I think, improved Wingspan, and I think this is another one that like has improved the core experience of Wingspan. I think some people, will say, well, it adds length, it adds bloat. I think that if you tailor your experience with, maybe you don't put all the Asia and Europe cards in your deck and you just use Oceania and the base cards. I think that we have reached a point in Wingspan where it is a very, very good engine builder. It's not so easy to math out anymore that, just running eggs is the move because eggs score you so many points. Like, it's not as simple as it used to be.
As somebody who's relatively new to Wingspan as a game, if I was to purchase one expansion for the base game, I think that this would be the one that I would invest my dollars in, just because this is such a fun mechanic. The birds synergize well with the mechanic that's already built in here, and I just think it's a great addition.
Yeah, and if you were only buying one and you were like, well, but those nectar wild token, like wild bird feeder food is really good. Okay, you can earn it out of the bird feeder, but these give you such an easy opportunity to get nectar, and nectar comes with this expansion. So I think I agree with you. I think this is the premier expansion for Wingspan. But yeah, with that, I think that's all we really have to say. Thanks again to Stonemaier Games for partnering with us on this. And yeah, we'll see you next time.